Welcome back, everyone, to Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Faiz, and Mr. JB. We're back again. So, Mr. JB, how are you feeling so far as a Man United fan? For the couple of weeks, how football has been treating you?
Yep, I guess football has been interesting, ups and downs, as always.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's I guess for Man United fans, it's a little bit up and down, which we're gonna cover a little bit as to why, as of the time that we're recording. But of course, for those people who are watching or listening to this, we appreciate anyone who is watching through this. So, yeah, do stick around. We're gonna have a bit of a topic to talk about, which is the Singapore on the World Cup qualifying group stage that we're in. We're gonna talk a little bit on that, and also we're gonna do a bit of a follow up on the Premier League matches that has passed by about 1-2 weeks ago. So, Mr. JB, let's talk a bit about Singapore football, which is where we're gonna start because our last conversation we had about it was, I believe, it was during International Week. Singapore qualifies after winning Guam 3-1 on aggregate. And we fell into the team of South Korea, Thailand, and China. We lost to South Korea 5-0. We lost to Thailand 3-1 in the first two games. What did you make of it so far?
Well, I have to say it's kind of a bit expected, just looking at the names of our opposition in the same group.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
looking at the scoreline also, it seems a bit expectable.
yeah, for sure. But I guess because the problem with the national team, I believe stems from like the change of coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every time there's a change of coach, you kind of expect uh, better performance, or looking forward to better things ahead. But unfortunately, uh, fans are quite disappointed looking at the strings of results even before this World Cup qualifier. So when this World Cup qualifier came about, you can see that fans are kind of divided, a little bit. There are some fans who is still cheering out Timon but doesn't disagree with the man in charge
Yeah.
necessarily. So yeah, so it's quite interesting. And of course, it doesn't help being in such a tough group, right? So
I mean,
yeah,
tough group is one. Like, it's interesting when you mention about, the fans being divided because of, how we approach the gameplay, how the manager sets a team and all that. Our
so,
first match was against South Korea, but throughout the first 43 minutes, it was nil-nil. Of course, South Korea was the one that is more attacking, but
right.
Singapore managed to hold out nil-nil for a good 43 minutes. Now, that's something that, that taken us by surprise. But of course, before the second half capitulation, we were losing at halftime 1-0. Of course, the person, South Korea, I can't remember who's the scorer. Who's the first scorer? It was a Gu Sung Chu. Yeah. So scored on the 44th minute coming into halftime, which is crucial normally when you score just before halftime. But what did you make then? Since you were saying that fans are divided by managers' setup and approach, but in that first 43 minutes, seems a little bit optimistic, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, for sure. I mean, just looking at the game, you can tell that we are like playing, I don't know what, 6-4-1 or something like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
it
it's
was everyone behind the ball. We won
yeah,
isolated up front. Yeah.
yeah. So of course, yes, of course, looking at it, on the first half, especially conceding so late, even I was pretty confident that we could get away with a draw in the first half. But yeah, but then again, as the game goes by, tired legs, tired concentration, playing away, the weather probably plays a part as well, and of course, playing against a world class opposition, uh, eventually will take a toll. As in how long can you defend? I mean, for a good 90 minutes or plus minus. So
Yeah.
it's tough, but it is what it is. I mean, South Korea, yeah, you know, I mean, some people are predicting double digits. So the fact that we didn't even reach double digits is kind of like a mini achievement. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a mini achievement, but I'm not expecting. I mean, to be fair, us Singaporeans fans, I think we probably understand if we were to lose to South Korea. Of course, whether by a small margin or big margin, we kind of like expected this kind of scoreline. Now we're gonna move on to the next match, which we, to be fair, I'm not gonna say that we should be expecting to lose here because this is one of our local Southeast Asian rivals, and Singapore used to match with them toe to toe. And I'm talking about Thailand, which is Thailand versus Singapore.
Yeah.
I think this is a match that probably divides the fans. Would you agree? Because we're at home, but we're playing on the back foot for most of the games. What do you think of that match then?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, after the South Korea game, uh, I mean, to be quite honest, there wasn't much of a lead time, I mean, between those games, I remember I think it's about less than a week apart, probably 4 or 5 days apart. Uh, so yes, going towards the game, the anticipation, the hype, the fact that we are playing at home, right?
Yep.
Of course, I mean, we are not. I mean, we are optimistic, at some point, but I mean, come on, Thailand were also having some problems with their coach coming into the game. They weren't winning as many matches leading up to the game, so we kind of felt that, hey, we kind of have that chance of going
Yeah, they're
all
kind
out.
of there for the taking for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Especially when
So
you're at home, that's a bit of an advantage.
that's right, that's right. So basically, when that didn't turn out well, and then we end up losing, like not even drawing the game.
I mean,
Uh,
the first 5 minutes we concede.
yeah, so when that happens, it's not, I don't know, it's just not the nicest thing, and of course for the fans, we are definitely upset with that. So yeah, I mean, we definitely is able to put up a fight, at least a good fight against a Thailand side,
Yeah.
uh you know on our home ground, but unfortunately the fight isn't enough to even get a draw, so that's quite disappointing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the one thing that most of the fans, I think, probably have seen a long time ago and maybe still seeing a bit now is that Singapore has always been like a first half team. Only the first half is where they can actually perform, but comes to the second half, we always capitulate. Then, for some reason, like again, let's take a look at these two games, like South Korea and Thailand, all right? Against South Korea, we were losing 1-0 just before halftime. The person scored 44 minutes. We defended well for 43 minutes. We go to
Right.
halftime with only one goal trailing.
Yep. That's right.
And then second half, we conceded four. So 5-0. And then with Thailand, yes, we conceded in first 5 minutes. But at halftime, we were 1-all. Shawa Anwar scored just before halftime. And again, the game was at a draw at that moment. It's still there for the taking. But again, second half comes in, we just lost and lost 3-1 to Thailand. So what did you make of it then? As like, is there something that we can actually try to do that rather than just performing well in the first half and just completely gone in the second? Like what, as a manager, if you were the manager, what can you do to motivate them then?
Yeah, I mean, motivate. Uh, I mean, that is really varies from manager to manager. But for me, I would definitely go out on the front foot. Try to kill the game even the first half. You know, don't feel comfortable like going 1-0 and all that. It's how to say, it's. I mean, it doesn't work. I mean, don't worry about it. Eventually, we will talk about some of the teams later on. Maybe I can quote on that. But the point is, yeah, I mean, you have to be on the front foot and take your chances. I think that is the most important way to actually win games, I feel.
Mm.
Of course, yes, setbacks does happen. Sometimes the opponent score first without you and everything else. Of course, that require a bit more motivation. That requires a bit more, uh, I would say, push. A bit more. Basically trying to find the motivation and the strength to come back. And I think that is more difficult
Yeah,
compared to being on the front foot first and then being comfortable later on. I mean, in football, it is what it is. I mean, back in the day, maybe with a solid defense, you can be comfortable with just 1-0 lead. But nowadays, looking at most of the matches, I think 1-0 lead isn't enough.
Yeah.
For the most part. And yeah, I mean, basically we have to score goals. I mean, it's simple. Football isn't the most difficult game. Yeah, sometimes you kind of look at it. Okay, you gotta break down. There's tactics. There's coaches talk, etc., etc. By the end of the day, the whole objective of football is to put the ball at the back of the net.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
That's
You
true.
score more goals, higher chance of you winning. You concede more goals and you don't score, higher chance of you losing. It is what it is. So yeah, I mean, we have teams who've created 10 chances, but they don't score and they will end up losing the game. So, you know, but for me, Singapore, on the other hand, I kind of feel that we kind of have that striker that we have, to score goals like Shalano has been doing very well, I think, the past few months for the national team. We also have Iksan, I think, who just came back, probably from injury or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, looking at the striker department, it seems like we can score, but it's just that perhaps the midfield, the one in service is probably the one we need to work on or improve on. So
All right.
yeah.
True, true. So, okay. One last thing before we move on to the other leagues that we're gonna talk about for today. Singapore next to international matches, which is back to back against with China for the World Cup qualifying. So home and away, we're facing China back to back there. Do you think we can get any points from that?
Man, I think I'm gonna be optimistic. I think if we could even get 1 point out of the two games, I
Yeah,
think that will be. I think that will be. I wouldn't say great, but that's my prediction. I think we can get at least 1 point.
yeah,
Uh, and I think just to make it look better on paper, I think we can get a draw over in China. I think there'll be a bonus.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a bonus. I mean, initially, I don't know. When I see the team, I thought that okay, like my objective for Singapore, of course, we're not gonna win everything. We're not gonna, but of course, we surely don't want to lose everything. So my expectation for them was, to put up a real fight against Thailand to get 3 points from them at least, home and
Right.
away. But well, we lost already at home. For China, hoping for a draw. While Korea, you know what, I can close one eye and let them lose for both legs for Korea. But because the losing of Thailand now, which makes it even more slimmer for Singapore to be in the top two. So winning against China is almost a must now at this stage because South Korea is clear on 6 points after winning both Singapore and Thailand. Uh, yeah, but no, sorry, was it? They won Singapore and China, I believe. I can't remember. Let me just have a look. Who did they win? Yeah, they won China 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Min Sun scored two.
Right.
So to be fair, like after China losing that 3-0, I guess you can say they kind of there for the taking. Again, we have to make use of our home advantage as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess like you, well, we're gonna be optimistic and try hope for a draw at least away from home and maybe try get a win at home. Why not?
Yeah.
A fluke
Yeah.
1-0 win is still win.
That's right. That's right. A win is a win. I mean, yes, you can win ugly, controversial, whatever, but a win's a win.
Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna move on real quick to the Premier League. Well, let me just say this first as an Arsenal fan myself, who has been, always been wearing Arsenal jersey in every podcast. We're sitting at the top of the table, top of the league, creme de la creme, with 36 points, 2 points ahead of Liverpool second as of recording. We are 15 matches in. And Aston Villa third with 32 points after the big win against Manchester City. Manchester City is fourth right now with 30 points. Tottenham dropped all the way to fifth with 27 without picking up a win for the past 5 games. We're going to talk a bit about all this in a while. And then there's Man United in sixth with 27 points, same points as Spurs as well, and then Newcastle and etc. So JB, um, I believe the month of November. We're now in December, so the month of November, I heard that Man United got a treble of Ten Hag winning the Manager of the Month award,
Treble.
Garnacho winning the Goal of the Month award,
Yeah.
and Harry Maguire winning the Player of the Month award. What did you make of Man United so far?
I would say still mixed bag though. Still mixed bag.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, hit and miss, if I can just say how I feel
Sure.
about Man United at the moment. But then again, I mean, we were just talking about this, a win's a win. So we'll take every win,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, be it
I think
ugly or
because of the
not. So,
results, yeah, I think because of the results for the November was the
right.
1-0 win on Fulham, 1-0 win on Luton,
Mm-hmm.
and the 3-0 win against Everton. That was the
Yeah,
month of November. And then
yep,
after that, you guys lost to Newcastle, but that was December, so that doesn't count for November nomination. So
right.
yeah, yeah. And I know it's still a mixed bag, and I can tell why. It's because of the Champions League situation that you guys are in. Um, let's be real, Mr. JB. How are you feeling right now for Man United Champions League qualification hope wise?
Very, very slim. I think we only got ourselves to blame there. We were in the lead, I think, for both of the matches, or I should say three of the matches, I think. Galatasaray, home and away,
Yep.
and also I think Copenhagen
Yeah, that
as
Copenhagen
well.
was, yeah.
Yeah, so basically we were leading like twice, I think,
Yeah.
in some occasions. So it's a little bit of a uh, I would say defensively problem.
Yeah.
And also let's not mention about the goalkeeper. Uh, yeah, I think there are
Oh,
some
na na
saves.
na 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 na.
Yeah, that's right. I mean there are some saves that he should have made. You know what I'm saying? There are some saves that he should have done
Yeah.
better, but he didn't. So I don't know if it's just
But
unlucky or
but I
something
don't
like
know.
that.
Is it really true? Man United are different when they play in EPL than in Champions League. It seems like some players shine in Champions League, but not in
Hmm.
EPL, and some does in EPL, but not in Champions League.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I
like a
said.
two
I mean,
different set of teams.
yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I mean, it's really strange because I think from the start of the season till now, I think we are just full of surprises, man. Full of surprises.
Yeah.
Full of surprises. I mean, hey, look at that, the player of the month. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Right?
Yeah.
Like just 3 months ago or 2 months ago, no one would have even mentioned his name
Nah.
in any conversation unless it's for jokes or memes or anything
Mhm.
like that. But look at that. I mean that's the thing. And Manchester United is very, very strange. Like who's our top scorer right now in the league? Who is it McTominay? I think it's McTominay.
You mean for
So
Premier League?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
For Premier League, yeah, he's McTominay for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You know what I'm saying? I mean that alone just sums it up.
I I mean, I'm surprised to see that McTominay is is Man United's top scorer with 5 goals this season so
Yeah,
far. And
yeah.
then you have like your main striker, Rasmus Højlund.
Mm-hmm.
In Champions League, he scored 5, 6 goals as well there, but he has
That's right.
yet to score in the Premier League. Has he
I,
scored in the Premier League?
no, not yet, not yet,
No, yeah, yeah.
not yet, not yet. He has yet to
I
get his debut goal.
Man United is the
So
most baffling team to me so far. The most bogey of a team that I've ever met this season. But
yep, yep.
which makes it more difficult for me to ask you, like in this kind of scenario, like is Ten Hag the right man to bring Man United forward?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel that he is the guy we have to stand behind. Because I mean, we have gone through so many manager changes, right? We don't want to be another Chelsea or Spurs. And to be honest, if you were to let go of Ten Hag now, the bigger question is, who's next?
Yeah.
Who's next? I
I
mean,
mean
it
there's
shows.
I mean there's Graham Potter, I guess.
I
There's
mean, I mean, fine, yeah. I mean, you do have names out there, right?
yeah,
But the
yeah.
problem is, if you change managers this often and not the players, yeah, then the problem is probably the players and not the manager. You know,
Then
like
you're
you're
gonna
trying to
have
tell
to
me, like you're gonna tell me that the past 3, 4 managers are the problem and not the players. Come on. I mean, we took some world class managers out there.
yeah.
And we got Mourinho, we got Van Gaal, we got okay. I mean,
Like
I
David
think
Moyes, maybe.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, David Moyes, and all that. But the point is, I mean, sometimes it's the players, yeah. I just feel that at the end of the day, a manager can only do so much. But once it's in the pitch, it's the players, right? You
Yeah.
are playing for yourself, you're playing for the team, you're playing for your family, you're playing for, I don't know, whoever else that you're playing for. So for me, yes, I'm 110% backing Eric Ten Hag. Yes, some people may say his methods, are not the best, or his methods are, not great or whatever.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, a team stand by the manager. A
Mhm.
team got
That's
to
true.
follow the manager. Like just because a previous manager doesn't talk to you a certain way, and then this new one doesn't talk to you a certain way, doesn't mean that, oh, okay, fine, I just give up, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. You adapt, what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
whole point,
Yeah.
and if you can adapt, then you know what I'm saying, you gotta show the door. I mean, just give an example. Look at Jaden Sancho, yeah. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's Ten Hag's fault, like why are you not giving this baller a chance? He's a good player. But
True.
But if the manager were to do that, then other players will go like, "Hey, this manager is a piece of cake. But I can do whatever I want and I'll still get away just
Yeah.
because my name is so and so, just because my my Instagram followers is this much or something like that."
Mm.
So what I'm saying. End of the day, 110%. I'm old school. Just back the manager, man.
All right, all right. So for all the Man United fans out there, if you agree, let us know. If you disagree, please roast us more. We'll be more happy to hear or see if there's anything. But now, okay, let's put Man United aside. I mean, again, it's a little bit of a mixed review for us to assess anything because they are, no matter how bad we might say Man United were, they are actually still, above Chelsea, West Ham, Brighton, and Newcastle. These are like the four decent team that, could actually be better than Man United in some occasion. But yeah, Man United is actually still just hanging around outside, just outside the top four. So it's not really the worst, considering you guys are 3 points away from Man City. And speaking of Man City, I guess now maybe it's time for us to talk a bit about this current treble winners. This is the first time Manchester City has not won four EPL matches in a row. They got draws, I believe like three draws in a row before they have that recent loss to to Aston Villa. So they draw to Chelsea 4-4 in a crazy game,
Mm-hmm.
draw to Liverpool 1-1 in a very tense game, draw
Mm.
3-3 with Tottenham Hotspur with another thrilling, controversial last minute game as well, and then losing in the most weird way to say that Aston Villa dominated the game. What did you make about Man City at the moment with them right now? Like they tend to have blip in every single season, but then they're gonna steamroll towards the end. But
Yeah, yeah. I
but can
mean,
you see that happening again and again for this one?
you mean like Man City steamrolling opponents?
This is just a short blip. They got three draw, one loss for the past four games. 6 points behind the league leaders. They are just behind Liverpool and Aston Villa as well along the way. Can you see them actually go and push for the fourth title, or is the treble winning hangover has finally caught up to them?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean the recent blip is probably because of that. Uh, like perhaps just complacent or something like that, or you have to give credits to those teams who managed to get a game plan going and uh be the better team. So for me, yes, Man City is one of those that if they are on form, man, they're scary, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that at the moment in the league, only them and probably Liverpool, I think, at the moment, that can go like 10 straight games
yeah.
winning, no problem, no sweat. Uh, yeah, so yes, never ever write them off,
Yeah.
Manchester City. Uh, and I think Arsenal fans, especially like you, do remember last season.
I mean, look, I'm
So,
still recovering from the
exactly.
PTSD
So,
last season.
I'm saying, I mean, you guys were top for don't know how many, like what, 90 over days? I don't remember, like 100 days? I don't
Yeah,
remember how many
we
days.
were top for a good 3 4 months, I think.
Exactly, for a few months, yeah. Yeah, so, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, Yes, never ever write off Man City. I do feel that they can, if they want, and if they, really turn up, they
Yeah.
are a very scary team to face. But of course, I mean, you can see. I think I just saw a stat recently about the matches that Rodri wasn't playing, and then
Hmm.
including the recent one,
Yeah.
and they couldn't even get a win. So yes,
Yeah,
I do
but
feel
but
that.
this is unlike Man City now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, it's not. It's not.
normally we wouldn't say that, oh, because of one player that the City squad will crumble. They would normally have benches which filled with players who can actually fill in the role and still get the job done. And then now when the recent stats and everyone start to come up and start to notice like how important Rodri is, and then now when they look at the bench, they're like, not say that they don't have coverage. They do. Of course, with Kevin De Bruyne is injured. Of course, they have like a few here and there. Um, but after Gundogan left and Roger got injured, they gotta play like someone else. Like Rico Lewis was a young academy graduate. They have Kelvin Phillips. Now suddenly the names start to come in and be like, these are not Gundogan or Rodri's caliber now, isn't it? Yes, Kevin De Bruyne is not there as well. Technically, you can say because Kevin De Bruyne is not there, that's why Man City is not winning as well. But they mention Rodri more because they feel like with or without Kevin De Bruyne, with or without Haaland, he can still get the job done. So how important is Rodri then?
Yeah, I would say, maybe Rodri has been the most influential this season. Like what you said, De Bruyne is like in and out injury and all that. A few other key players at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as time goes by, you will have different players that steps up. You know, and like what you said, okay, Gundogan is gone. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players in Man City. A little bit like David Silva as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I guess
basically
we can
people
say
don't.
that.
So yeah, I mean, people talk about them, but don't talk about them so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, you know that they are the ones that's pulling the string. So it's probably the same like Rodri now, but just that people are paying more attention to Rodri because of the stats. Like okay, when he wasn't playing,
Hmm.
uh, they lost. Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Every team, I do believe, do have those key players that, if they are gone, will definitely have an upset to the team balance. But again, it is still not a good excuse enough to say that, oh, without this player or that player, the team
Yeah.
couldn't get
I mean, for Man City
get a
level, it's
score.
not
Yeah,
that good enough to be saying just
yeah, for sure, for
you
sure.
can't blame injuries as well, really. I mean, no offense. We look at Man United and Newcastle, they have much more injuries than Man City at some point. I'm sure some other teams have a lot of injuries as well. But yeah, all right. I mean, again, this is still, coming towards the midway of the season because we're 15 games in, midway's 19, right? 19 games. Yeah, so we're still somewhat, well, we're about one third coming to half or midway point of the season. The surprising package, Aston Villa, which I did remember doing a prediction with you. I did say Aston Villa is a dark horse for me. So what did you make of Aston Villa so far, who is third on the table right now at 15 after 15
Yeah,
games?
yeah, I would say impressive. Yeah, I think looking I mean, as of this recording, I think they look uh more capable than the ones that I predicted previously, like Newcastle,
Yeah, Newcastle,
Brighton.
Brighton,
Yeah,
West Ham, Brentford, maybe.
yeah, like all this. Yeah, I mean, they're slowly starting to show that they have that sort of a tenacity in them. And I
Yeah,
kind of like it because they have no problem scoring. At the same time, their back four also looks good.
yeah,
Uh, with the likes of uh Pau Torres,
yeah,
Konsa,
yeah.
Lucas Dingy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Douglas
so you
Luiz,
yeah,
amazing
yeah,
player right now.
yeah, exactly. Amazing players, Douglas Luiz, and of course their striker of the moment, Ollie Watkins. So yeah,
Yeah,
so you can slowly see this team is, I mean, not bad. You know what I'm saying? Not bad. I kind of like it. I mean, there are players like Lenglet, Cash. All these players are pretty likable. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, if they can, if they can continue with this current form, yeah, I mean, they are definitely a team that indeed surprised me and have a
yeah.
go at the top five probably.
Yeah, apparently there's a stats that's saying about Aston Villa's home form is what bring them to be this a bit of a fortress, because apparently they say the last time Aston Villa lost at home in a Premier League season was last season when Arsenal win Aston Villa 4-2, I think, or 3-2, the last minute one. Cannot remember the score, but I know it was Arsenal. But that was the last time that Aston Villa actually lost at home in the Premier League. So technically, this season all the way, or coming towards the end of last season, come and this season, they have not lost yet. And some of the scores when they were winning at home, like if I were to go through a bit with you, are quite impressive, because they actually won, like, okay, example 3-1 with Palace. Okay, it's a bit expected. But then you come to the scoreline of like 6-1 with Brighton, 4-1 with West Ham, 3-1 with Fulham, and now 1-0 with Man City. These are actually really good kind of scoreline, they're not really scraping through. It's like a dominant display at home. So with them having trouble with away, because, like, well, the most recent loss they have was apparently, and I have no idea how, they lost to Nottingham Forest 2-0 away in the Premier League. That was the last time they lost, which is, I think, 6 games ago. So, and yeah, apparently away from home as well, they even draw to Bournemouth 2-2. So they are like losing points to this kind of team, Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, yet they are winning much at home with the bigger teams. So looking at that kind of form instead, where would you put Aston Villa at the moment if you can give them a position with the current form?
Wow. I think I would still say fifth or sixth. Uh,
Six. All right.
yeah, correct. Because I mean, you're right, right? I mean, sometimes when you play against bigger teams, the motivation and all that. But yes, that home record is impressive. Um, but yeah, I mean, in football, if let's say you go away and you start dropping points, like what you say, teams against Forest, Bournemouth, and the likes, and then if you keep on dropping more points away, yeah, it might not be too good for you. So yeah, so I would give Aston Villa fifth or sixth, probably. But you brought
But
up a very interesting fact about the last time they lost at home was against Arsenal.
yep,
So, and at the time
weekend.
of this recording, this weekend, yep, they're
Yep.
gonna face Arsenal at home. So
Yep.
let's hope that well, as much as I hate to say this, but let's hope that Arsenal can break the record again.
Yeah, you know what? It's time for Arsenal to, continue to be the kryptonite of Aston Villa home form. Because at the moment, again, like Aston Villa and Arsenal are just 4 points apart, with Liverpool trailing just behind by 2. So if Arsenal were to lose to Villa right now and Liverpool win, then they'll be on top. Just like that, because that's how competitive this league has been. It's still anybody's game at the moment. So yeah, I think with that's it. I think we're gonna wrap things up for the part one of our podcast. So for those of y'all who are watching and listening through Spotify or YouTube, we thank you guys so much for able to hear and watch us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think as well of our opinions, especially what Mr. JB said about Ten Hag. He's still Ten Hag in. I'm sure some people are Ten Hag out already, but he's still in. You're still in, right? You're still
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So
definitely
so
Ten
you're
Hag.
still in. So yeah, do stick around for the part two, which is we're gonna continue our Football Manager series, our fantasy draft again. So do stick around, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the part two. Take care, everyone.